You judged me by the battles you thought I lost, but you never understood the strength that comes from rising after every fall. My strength isn't in never being knocked down, it's in standing up every single time. You saw me in moments of doubt, but you never realized that those doubts built my resilience. You mistook my silence for weakness, but silence is where I found my true power. You called me weak because I wore my heart on my sleeve, but little did you know my vulnerability is my greatest strength. It allows me to feel, to love deeply, and to rise from any heartbreak stronger than before. You think I'm fragile because I don't shout, but strength isn't in loudness. It's in the quiet endurance, in the calm during the storm, in the steady beating of my heart that refuses to give up. You only saw the cracks in my armor, but you never saw how I've stitched myself back together, piece by piece, stronger than ever before. You underestimated me because you couldn't see the battle I've already won inside. You thought I was weak because I stumbled, but it's in those stumbles that I found my balance. Every scar tells a story, not of weakness, but of survival, of strength, of the courage to keep going. You think you broke me, but I was only bending. The fire you thought would consume me only forged me into something unbreakable. You'll see my strength when you realize I'm still standing. You saw me when I was at my lowest and thought that was the end. What you didn't see is that it was just the beginning of my rise. My strength doesn't lie in avoiding pain, but in enduring it and growing through it. You called me weak for being kind, but kindness takes more strength than you'll ever know. It's easy to be cold and distant. It takes true power to remain soft in a world that tries to harden you. You judged me by the days I faltered, but true strength isn't in never falling. It's in getting back up over and over again. And every time I rise, I'm stronger than before. You think I'm weak because I don't fight the way you do. But strength isn't always loud and aggressive. Sometimes it's in the quiet persistence, the resilience to keep moving forward even when the road is hard. You saw my tears and thought that they were a sign of weakness, but my tears were the release of all the strength I was gathering inside. What you mistook for fragility was me preparing for my comeback. You laughed at my struggles, thinking they'd break me. But what you didn't realize is that those struggles were shaping me into someone unshakable, someone stronger than you could ever imagine. You called me weak because I didn't retaliate, but strength isn't in vengeance. It's in rising above, in letting go and in focusing on my growth instead of wasting energy on you. You thought my silence was submission, but it was my strength. Sometimes the loudest battles are fought in quiet moments, and the strongest victories are those that don't need to be announced. You think you've seen me at my weakest, but what you don't understand is that every challenge I face only makes me stronger. My strength is not measured by how I act in easy times, but how I rise during the hardest moments. You thought you could break me with your words, but words only have power if I give it to them. My strength lies in knowing who I am, no matter what you or anyone else says. You thought you could tear me down with your actions, but my strength isn't built on your approval. I've learned to stand tall on my own, stronger with every wound I heal. You underestimated me because I didn't react the way you expected, but strength isn't in reacting, it's in choosing to respond on my own terms, in my own time, with grace and purpose. You saw me in a moment of weakness and thought that's all I was. But strength isn't the absence of weakness. It's the will to keep going despite it, to push through when it feels impossible. You think my gentleness makes me weak, but it takes incredible strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards cruelty. My strength is in choosing compassion over bitterness. You think I'm fragile because I let my emotions show, but true strength isn't in hiding your feelings. It's in embracing them, owning them, and still choosing to move forward. You thought you'd break my spirit, but you only helped me discover the depths of my strength. Every challenge you threw at me has only made me more resilient. You saw me struggle and thought it was a sign of weakness, but struggles are what build strength. Every obstacle you put in my way only taught me how to overcome. You think my silence means I'm weak, but silence is where I gather my strength. When I speak, it's with the power of all the battles I've fought and won inside. You thought you could diminish me with your judgments, but my strength doesn't come from your opinions. It comes from within, from the fire in my heart that refuses to be extinguished. You saw me vulnerable and thought that made me weak, but vulnerability is where true strength is born. It's in being brave enough to feel everything deeply and still keep going. You think I'm fragile because I'm soft-spoken, but true strength doesn't need to shout. It's in the quiet confidence, the unshakable belief in myself that no one can take away. You thought you could keep me down with your doubts, but your doubts only fueled my determination. Every time you said I couldn't, I became stronger, more certain that I could. You think I'm weak because I don't conform to your expectations, but my strength lies in being unapologetically myself, in standing firm in who I am, no matter what the world says. You think you've won because I didn't fight back, but my victory isn't in retaliation. It's in rising above, in living a life that proves my strength without needing to lower myself to your level. You saw me in my darkest moments and thought that was the end. But darkness is where I found my strength. It's in the hardest times that I've discovered what I'm truly capable of. You think I'm weak because I forgive, but forgiveness is the ultimate strength. It's choosing to let go of the pain and rise above the hurt, to move forward without being weighed down by the past. You thought you broke me, but I was only bending, learning how to adapt, how to grow. My strength isn't in never being affected. It's in choosing to heal, to rise stronger every time. You think you've defeated me because I don't react, but my strength isn't in reacting. It's in choosing my battles wisely, in knowing that not everything deserves my energy. You saw me fall and thought I was done, but falling isn't failure. It's in every fall that I've learned to rise higher, to become stronger than I was before. You called me weak because I don't hide my scars, but my scars are my strength. They are proof of every battle I've faced, every storm I've survived, and the strength that lies within. You think I'm weak because I don't fight with words, but strength isn't always in what's said. Sometimes it's in the quiet endurance, in the ability to keep going even when the world is against you. You thought you'd break me with your coldness, but my strength comes from within. Your approval isn't what fuels me. My inner fire burns brighter than anything you could ever put out. You think you've seen me at my weakest, but what you don't understand is that my strength is like the ocean, vast, deep, and ever-changing. What you see is only the surface. You called me weak for loving too deeply, but love takes courage. It takes strength to open your heart, to trust, to be vulnerable. My love is my strength, not my weakness. You thought I was broken because I struggled, but struggles are where strength is born. Every challenge I face only makes me more resilient, more determined, more powerful. You think I'm weak because I don't fight fire with fire, but strength is in choosing peace, in walking away from battles that aren't worth fighting. My strength is in knowing when to rise and when to let go. You thought you'd broken me, but you only woke up the strength I didn't know I had. Every time you tried to tear me down, I rebuilt myself stronger, more unshakable. You think you've won because I walked away, but walking away was the strongest thing I could do. It's in knowing my worth, in choosing myself over the battles that don't deserve my energy.